I believe Buddhism will transform our everyday ordinary life into something extraordinary. When my father died 7 years ago, what supported me in my grieving process was Buddhism, especially the Buddhist scripture called the Lotus Sutra. What I realized was this: the end of my father's life does not mean the end of my relationship with him. The end of his life was rather the beginning of feeling my father's presence in new ways. The fact about his death does not change, but the meaning of his death ever continues to change and further grow. That's how the Lotus Sutra transformed my perspectives about the death of loved ones. Today's video is based on my last video, Lotus Sutra's middle way between presence and absence according to Brooks Porin's Tiantai Buddhism. If you haven't yet, please check that out so that you get to know the Lotus Sutra context about my talk for today. And please subscribe my channel and leave your comments below. Your support becomes my motivation to get this channel going. Okay, so when my father died, I thought my father's death meant his complete absence from this world. Whenever I called my home in Japan, it was only my mother who picked up the phone, but no longer my father. When I had trouble with my old car, I no longer had an immediate advisor because my father was gone. When I flew to Japan and had a family reunion, he was no longer there. When I had a moment of achieving something in my life, he was no longer there to be proud of his son. So my father's absence made me miss him so much. But one day, I was reciting the Lotus Sutra chapter 16, where it talks that the Buddha's death is not the real death. Buddhas rather show their presence and absence as a way of skillfully guiding all sentient beings to achieve their Buddhahood. It was after grieving a few months and gave me a kind of aha moment. Then I started to believe in new possibilities and to try feeling the experience of my missing father in different ways. Then I eventually realized that the moment of my missing him was never possible without the fact that my father was alive in the past. Without that unchangeable fact about the past, I would not have been feeling any sense of missing him in the present. So every time I miss him, I become emotional and feel his absence. But it is precisely this absence of my father that makes me long for him and intensely focused on him. In those moments, my entire experience is so heavily influenced by his absence. When I had that thought and experience, I said to myself, wait a minute, isn't his death not just his absence? Isn't this absence some kind of his presence, but in forms that he never took during his lifetime? Today, 7 years after his death, I still miss him so much. His death does not change. However, thanks to a Buddhist inspiration from the Lotus Sutra, I was able to find a way out to this moment of missing him, not by changing the fact of his death, but rather by changing the meaning of his death, by broadening my perspectives about his absence as a new opportunity for me to feel his presence. So Buddhism doesn't change the death of my father, but it changes the meaning of his death. We cannot change what happened in the past, but we can change the meaning of the past. That's what Buddhism transformed my everyday life into something extraordinary. If you have lost your loved ones, how are you coping with your experience of missing them? Please share your thoughts and stories below. Oh, my son's back now. Hi, okaeri.